Well, thank you everybody for joining us for our Leadership Council meeting for February 25th. Appreciate you all making time for our important meeting. So maybe we could just start with introducing ourselves, and we'll take roll call at the same time.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Roxanne from the county of Monterey.
Great.
I'm Anjanette from Gathering for Women.
Great.
AC Powers and Arm Inc.
Jill Allen, Dorothy's Place.
Jacob Schaefer, Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula.
Thank you.
Wes White, Lived Experience Advisory Directive.
Thank you, Wes. Anyone else?
Cindy Georger, Homelessness Strategies and Initiatives with Roxanne.
Thank you, Cindy.
Greg Baker, Community Homeless Solutions.
Tanya Valdez with the County of Monterey on Roxanne's team as well.
Thank you.
Adam Velasquez, City of Soledad.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. I know Mayor Oglesby's on too. Anyone else?
Donna Smith, Monterey County Office of Education.
All right. I see Mayor Donahue.
I'm here.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else?
Jazzo with the Office to Supervisor Luis Alejo.
Great. All right. I think we got everybody. We do have quorum, so we can move forward. Do we miss anybody? Okay. Any additions or modifications to the agenda, Katrina?
None here.
All right. Let's go to any public comments for items not on today's agenda. We'll allow up to 2 minutes. Any from the board? Any from the public? Yes. Go ahead, Roxanne.
I did announce this in the coalition board meeting, but I'm also announcing it at the Leadership Council. There are several grand openings that are happening over this next few weeks. We have the Soledad interim housing project, which has invited its first guest into and is at full capacity. That one is coming up, and then do you want dates? Is this for the record?
Yeah, March 9th, I think it is.
I think it is. I know we have
It's March 9th for Soledad.
At noon.
March 9th, that's for Soledad at noon. March 5th for Fairview Salinas at 10:30.
And that is our Project Home Key in partnership with the Housing Authority of Monterey County.
That is correct. And then March 19th is the King City Home Key. So collectively, fast math, it's over 100 units that's being added between all three of them. So we're very excited that all of this work is happening. And Watsonville did open. It's been a huge deal for us, but we're trying to align the grand opening with Santa Cruz County's availability. So that one's a little more complicated, way more elected officials to take into consideration. So we will announce the official grand opening for the Hope Village in Watsonville soon.
So those are 4 important projects where we're actually opening spaces to help people go be sheltered and have services. So all of those are great projects, all grand opening at the same time. So we wanted to make sure our board and our partners knew about them. To hopefully, if you could be there to see it, hopefully it's inspiring to say that the work that we're doing does really make a difference in providing those housing opportunities for people who really need it. So I just want to encourage everybody, if you can make it there, if there is space allowed, to be able to go to those 4, and we'll make sure to provide the Watsonville Tiny Homes project, because that would be another 32. 34, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know you don't solve this issue overnight, but project by project, bed by bed, individual and family at a time, it does make this work really rewarding when we actually see these projects cross the finish line and open up for our community. Mayor Velasquez, you want to say anything about your project in Soledad before we move on to the agenda?
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor. And I agree. I think it's really important if everybody can join us. I think it's important to be able to show what communities are doing, and especially in smaller communities like ours, that this is possible, right? That with the funding and with the collaborative and the partnerships, that we can, at least for us, it's really can get to net zero, right? And that's what we want to be able to see across our cities. And I think the other thing that it's important to stress here, especially with the state, is the importance of the funding that needs to come to our cities so we can ensure that we're addressing all of the needs within our homeless population. So I think it's important to be able to stand together, as it takes all of us working together to be able to ensure that these projects are moving forward and are being successful. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to go to Mayor Donahue. We'll go to West, but we just want to,
Sure.
if Mayor Labar and Mayor Donahue are here. Mayor Donahue, the Fairview is in Salinas. It's one of our hotel conversions, Project Homekey. And Housing Authority, just like in the King City project, were so critical to being able to despite the challenges that we went through with the previous developer, we're now able to have these also open up for our community. I just wanted you to be able to share some words of how important this is for Salinas and the county overall.
Well, I think I would echo you and Mayor Velasquez. I mean, it's
recording in progress.
The ability to bring more units online allows us to provide those services to that many more people, and it's so it's good to see some progress because because certainly we're dealing with situations here in Salinas, where you're just looking for beds, and so to put 45 more in play is a nice step moving forward. Lots of work to do, obviously, but we're really pleased with being able to look towards March 5th and some good news.
Definitely. And we all know, Roxana especially, Katrina, these projects are very difficult sometimes, from the time you try to have an idea and apply for funding, and then doing everything in between, up to get to your point where you're doing a ribbon cutting. It is a lot of work, and everybody should be acknowledged for getting these projects across the finish line. Wes, you want to say something on this?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to hear all that and the date and times. If I could get a little bit of card copy on that, that'd be appreciated. I'm excited to see these all move forward and make fruition. Also, I guess I do want to bring up about the governor's orders and how can we bring in alignment our position paper on sweeps. The just basically providing services more like shelter in place, accepting for now, this is people's affordable housing. It's what they can afford. People were pushed off the Union Pacific Railroad tracks and lost a lot of belongings. The police there are ready to arrest. If they come back, they put a lot of anti-homeless architecture there. So now there's a bunch of people on Market Way and Bridge Street. And, there needs to be a posted notice. There needs to be services rendered. And when we find we fall short, what is the alternative? Because how can you mitigate any of those safety hazards? If we're mitigating minimal health and safety standards, then why aren't we providing services or allowing people an address? So that way they can register to vote and even run for office. But location, because I actually got gypped out of being able to run for not having an address, only Dorothy's place. So it's very real, and that's actually on the federal voting form as well. One of the things is, if you don't have an address, describe your location. If you register to vote, by the time that even gets plugged into the system, you're not even there anymore. And a lot of the city's not really doing a posted notice. So we need to make sure that our partners are going by their own guidelines as well, and being a fair partner in what people can do. Shelter in place, I guess, is the only policies and procedures that I remember did that, so it's already in writing, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel that way.
Commissioner muted.
Sorry, you're muted, Supervisor.
Sorry about that. We're on item number 4 on funding, and we got those 3 items. So let's start on the HUD COC NOFO update. We got some critical updates to inform you about. Katrina, I think you're.
I was muted now. Thank you, Supervisor. So, just want to let everyone know that the 2025 COC NOFO remains closed. So, what dropped in November remains closed and is currently pending resolution of federal litigation. We were allowed to move forward with our renewal project under the 2024-2025 framework in accordance to the court order, and CHSP was able to submit all those renewal applications on February 6th for a total of $8.4 million. Included in those renewals were some YHGP funded reallocations from Bay Area Community Services to City of Soledad, and the Coalition's Transitional Housing Project to Community Human Services. All of those applications are currently under review, and our rewards remain pending through the federal processing. But with the current litigation, there is not an anticipated award date that has been provided. So CHSP will continue to closely monitor HUD guidance and any changes to the 2025 NOFO process, and will update the Leadership Council as soon as things become available. So I just want to thank everybody, our Leadership Council, our potential rankers, our HUD, NOFO delegation body, and just the community service provider network in general, because from November to January, it was really kind of stressful with a lot of information coming out, and we really understand that it created stress and chaos, and we just wanted to keep everyone informed, but we want to appreciate everyone for their flexibility and volunteering for some really hard decisions to be made. But thankfully, we were able to push through and get those applications in. Now, yes.
You talk about this perhaps just being a 1-year reprieve, right? We all these, as we know, the NOFO had all these new requirements and conditions that were going to make it really challenging for our providers and for service delivery to our residents. So the litigation was filed. They basically said, we're just going to extend the contracts from the previous year. What do you anticipate happening next year, a year from now, or at the end of this year, I should say?
Honestly, I really hate to even speak this into existence, but it is, I can definitely foresee that in the summer, they will drop a 2026 NOFO to include a lot of those really strict regulations. That is what we are bracing ourselves for and trying to prepare our community for. But I talk about that a little bit more in this litigation aspect. So we know that we renewed the $8.4 million in February to protect our existing projects through the ruling that passed. However, the broader NOFO remains under federal litigation, and HUD just filed an emergency motion asking the court to dissolve the injunction that paused the 2025 competition. So we can expect court decision on March 2nd, but until that ruling is instilled, the federal environment still remains kind of unsettled. But I want to be clear that this dispute is primarily about federal process and authority, and not whether the COC programs should exist. Congressional appropriations support continuation of the funding, but with that being said, it's uncertain when the timing of the execution of grants will present itself, and could really present operational risk. Because I'll share with you in full transparency, this last round from our 2023 grant to our 2024 grant, there was a huge lapse in time of execution. And with the new administration, we were unable to continue our grant
And so if it ended July or June 30th, we usually set our new contract for July 1st. But because contracts didn't come until November, we weren't able to go back that day, that far, and lost about $80,000 in what we would have billed to HUD, and we had to use our operational non-restricted funding to cover that. And I don't know how other organizations can recoup from that type of hit. So there are some real operational concerns that we are expecting, and delays in grant expiration and award executions. There is a potential need for technical resubmission or grant amendments that might take place if they do launch this 2025 NOFO restrictions. They may do a quarter of the time, and then we're still working it through. And definitely can foresee administrative burden that will fall on our service provider network.
We'll keep everybody posted, and the decision, the ruling should be coming out soon.
Yeah, definitely. We'll continue to monitor timelines closely and hope for minimal risk and service disruption. But our priority is to maintain system stability and continuation of services in our community. So if there's a way for us to help fill in gaps, we will continue to apply for funding to try to support the community. But organizations need to do the same as well.
All right. You want to go to the next item, and then we can.
Yeah, I can move over to our HAP. Yeah, our HAP update. So we are looking at this slide here represents our HAP 2 and 3 expenditures. You can see that we're 86% expended in HAP round 2 and 78 in HAP round 3. These both expire June 2026, and we have 6 agencies behind in their spending. CHST has been meeting with these organizations to evaluate their program and their spend down abilities. And we still have a couple organizations we have yet to sit down with. So what we're asking here today is for the approval of flexibility to reallocate some of these funds if we identify that organizations are unable to meet the expenditure deadline. Being able to reallocate before April at our next meeting will give the opportunity for us to continue to evaluate those programs and the opportunity for new organizations to have enough time to spend those funds down by the deadline. So we're bringing this to you today to ask for the opportunity to sole source if needed.
Great. Let's open it up for questions on this. This is an important one. It's just like $1.1 million. This is an important issue because that's one of our responsibilities to make sure that we're monitoring that the money given during these different rounds of HAP are being spent for its intended purpose. And also because as we ask for more future rounds of funding, the governor has been critical and saying, well, some areas are not spending all the money we give to them. So that's why this is so important to us to be able to pivot, especially when we got 4 months left in the remaining fiscal year, to be able to make sure that this money could be spent to help those that it was intended to assist. Casey, we'll start with you.
What are some of the barriers from the organizations that you've talked to so far, Katrina, in spending down the money?
Thanks, Casey. So one of the organizations had funding for construction and has been slow to move through construction, so they were unable to spend those funds down. And that is one of the organizations that I have yet to be able to sit down with. Another organization is also a construction project that they were using those funds. They were billing to other grants and are just now saying that they can take the rest of their funds in the next coming months. So that number of 6 agencies has moved down to 5 agencies. The one said, I can definitely send that down, and we will start submitting this month. So they'll submit for February on and are able to meet their threshold.
Great. Let's go to Jill.
Yes, I'm curious to know what the coalition's process or procedure is for sole sourcing to reallocate remaining funds.
Yeah, so first we look at the current funded projects, and if they meet the criteria, high-performing funded projects, and if they have already spent their funds down and can continue on, we would ask them if they're able to continue. And per usual, a lot of organizations reach out to the coalition, seeing if there's any available funding that they can go for, or when they're going to be able to go for funding. So also just talking to folks, or but no real formal process, no RFP or anything. We kind of have to move fast and loose at this point in order to ensure that we are helping those organizations be impactful and that they can meet those expenditure deadlines.
So you, as the executive director for the coalition, are actually making that decision. Is that correct?
With my team, yes. If we are approved to
the sole source.
The sole source, yes.
Okay, very good.
You would provide an update and a report on that in April, right?
Absolutely.
And if we need to, as you make decisions, maybe we could also send out an email just saying this is what we're recommending, and that way people could have some notice prior to April, right? Just so that everybody knows what you're recommending, or this decision that the decision making that you're making about that you're doing about the funds. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, let's go to Colin. Colin, we can't hear you for some reason. You're unmuted, but I don't think we can hear anything here. Let's go to Ana Velasquez, and Colin, check your mic meanwhile. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think none of us could hear you. Let's go to Mayor Velasquez.
Yeah. Thank you, Supervisor. So I just wanted to comment on this one, especially because I know that there's remaining funds. Soledad, as part of the partnership, we have the Transitional Age Youth Project as well. And I know that because there was some funding determinations and we didn't know whether the funding was going to move forward or not. If there's funding that is remaining, I would like to be able to consider, $181,000 being allocated to the city of Soledad to continue with the Transitional Age Youth Project that we currently have and serve all of Monterey County youth. It's been really important and critical, and if we can continue that, I think that would be great. So just want to make sure that I make that comment today as we have this conversation.
Continue, you want to respond to that request?
Yes, thank you. Actually, I have in 2 more slides. I have something for that. So that's great to hear, Mayor. Appreciate it. We can talk more about that. 2 more slides.
Yes. Okay. Good. We'll come back to your question and request. Let's go to Colin. Your mic was working at the very end. Nope, it's not working again.
Is he frozen now? Yeah.
Yeah. You're unmuted, Colin, but we still can't hear you, even though your video is off. Anyone else? And we can get back to Colin once his mic works. Any other questions on this? All right. So we need a motion then, Katrina, just so it's clear for everybody that to provide you with discretion to make the decisions on sole sourcing for using those remaining funds as listed, but that you would send an email to everyone just informing them on what is being utilized. That would just give everybody the opportunity to raise any concerns earlier on rather than at a meeting in April.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So can we get a motion and a second for that? Colin, are you able? We still can't hear you. I don't want to move on to the next event without hearing your input yet. But
do you want to go to the next couple slides, and then if he gets back up, then we can come back to this one?
You could do that.
Okay.
For that motion, we'll just leave it on the table for now. Let's go to the report on the Bezos Family First Award then.
Okay, wait, I have it. Hold on real quick. So, still an update, in HAP update, sorry. So this is our DST allocation, and we talked about it in October, and I just wanted to let you guys know that Downtown Streets team, with Downtown Streets team, remainder funding, we were able to, oh, there he is. Let's go back.
There I am, sorry. Go ahead, I'll come back when you're ready. I was just testing it out.
We went back to the slide, so go for it.
Well, the question I had is what agencies are behind in the spending on the other one, and what timeline did the staff have for when you would shift gears if you don't have a firm commitment that you're going to get, or are you just shifting gears now, basically? If we approve that.
It's inside of their contracts. These are 3-year contracts that they've had, so they know their timelines. It's definitely spelled out in there when their reports are due, when their mid-year check-ins, when they have to meet each threshold, 50%, 80%, all of the things. And I hate putting everybody out on blast publicly. And I can share that if that's really what you want.
Yes, that is what I think it's necessary. Yeah, it's not. I don't think blast anything is. Yeah, okay. I think we need to know.
So, County of San Benito is one of them. Housing Authority of Monterey County. Step Up on second. Abrina, can you tell me the other 2, 3? Those are the ones we were like those. So County of San Benito, I'm trying to get in touch with. We just met with Housing Authority and Step Up, and then we have to meet with the other 2 or 3.
So you haven't met with is it Enrique?
Yeah, we've been trying to.
So I guess he's just not on the call here. I'll have to touch base with him then. Okay, I was just curious because obviously we don't want to lose out on money and.
Right.
But if you haven't met with them, then we don't really have any idea of how far along or the potential. Because every time I've talked to them about these things, it's been pretty clear that we're going to get it, get things spent out. So
yeah, we've had conversation over the past couple of months about this, but haven't got to the I need of your final number, and if you're going to be able to spend this by this date, or what is your projection by X date, so that we can at least reallocate the remaining balance, because you guys still have to HAP 5. You guys still have funding through HAP 5.
Okay. I'm going to ask him if he's able to join here too, so maybe we can...
He's just jumped into the Teams. If you can tell him it's not in Teams, it's in Zoom. I'm so sorry.
And I just want to add that we did request all of the HAP 2 and 3 grantees to provide their spend down projections to us by February 6th. And we got the majority, we just didn't get it from San Benito yet. And so we have been able to look at it closer to see which agencies will likely be able to spend. And so based on conversations that have been had up until yesterday, I feel like we're in a good place to get this funding spent. Aside from, where we are with San Benito, we need to get those projections. So if you're able to help, that would be great.
Is he on yet? You said he was joining? Katrina?
He jumped in on the Teams link by mistake.
I don't think he's on.
No, I don't see him.
How about the other 3 organizations? It is. I agree with Colin that it is good. As part of our monitoring and oversight, to know what are the partners who are the partners and how much each has outstanding. But at least for this call, to who the other 3 organizations are.
Abrina, can you?
Yeah. So it's actually it's it's 6 grants, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 agencies.
So who's the fourth? So we have County of San Benito, HACM, Step Up, and
it's interim, but they're almost done, and it was really just because of a delay in doing a budget modification or a contract amendment and figuring all of that out. But we're in a good place as far as that goes. So I personally don't feel like we should worry about that grant. It's 81% expended. There is I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to share here in this space, but
I think that's it. That's it for now.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think moving forward, though, it's never intended to blast anybody, but certainly to support and follow up. But there is that accountability measure, right? Because as our counties and cities are advocating for more funding for future rounds of HAP, you know, what was allocated last year that's supposed to be funded in the next fiscal year was only $500,000. It was only half of our funding. It is hard for us to make those arguments as we're making rounds up in Sacramento, even through our state association of counties, when the governor is pushing back and his staff is pushing back, saying that COCs and counties aren't fully spending their money. So that's why we take that with the utmost seriousness. And if everybody helps on that, then we can make sure we're telling our communities that we are spending every single dollar that comes down to our local communities. All right.
Yeah, I talked to Enrique. He was trying to get on. He texted somebody. He was doing the Teams. So I told him to jump on the Zoom, and he's doing that now.
Okay. So
sorry about that.
It's okay. So then the motion is open if anybody.
Can we wait until we get an explanation for San Benito? I'm not going to vote on this until I know exactly what's going on.
Okay, Colin.
He's literally jumping on right now.
But is this the place to like troubleshoot issues that are going on with specific contracts? I don't know that this is necessarily the place for that.
Well, yes, it is, because we need to know if San Benito is going to be able to spend its money down, and I don't want to be going in the direction of losing money for your county as well as mine because we don't have the right information.
Yeah, we'll just give an opportunity for Enrique to respond if he can, and that would make our co-chair more comfortable on the vote.
Yeah, and then I'm also wondering, is there another item we could potentially discuss while we wait for Enrique to get online?
Yes, and we were doing that already, so we can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
We'll jump back.
Okay. So just kind of like the last one, when we were granted sole sourcing to reallocate downtown streets teams. I'm here to provide you an update that we were able to sole source to Step Up on second, and here is the reallocation that they were able to grab. And this is just as an update, and thank you guys for the autonomy to move this forward and get the funds out into the community. To Mayor Velasquez's point, we have our HAP 5 youth set aside that is not obligated at this point. It's $181,825 as during the last local competition, we were unable to fully fund, obligate these funds. So we had requested in December approval, an email vote approval from the Leadership Council to fund Hollister Youth Alliance because they were the only organization that expressed interest in needing funds, but we were unable to get quorum, and concerns arose that all of our youth set-aside funds would go to San Benito County. So we're bringing this back to the Leadership Council to let you guys know that there's $181,000 that is unallocated, and we are looking for direction on how we would like to move forward. And then, Mayor Velasquez just made her point, and Roxanne raised her hand.
Go ahead, Roxanne.
Thank you. So just to underscore what Mayor Velasquez is referencing, the County of Monterey received a $2 million federal earmark for us to build a TAY project in South County after, it's embarrassing to say, but 3 or 4 years. We're finally moving forward. And of course, expenses have substantially gone up since when that was originally retrieved or awarded from the feds. So the Department of Social Services is putting their HAP 5 use set aside into it. I'm putting our HAP 6 use set aside into it. And I think it would be advantageous for the Leadership Council to consider using the COC's HAP 5 youth set aside funding towards that same project. The project is permanent supportive housing for 18 to 24-year-olds who have children. So I think it is a substantial moment in time where we could all get together and put a very needed resource in South County. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor, I'm trying to raise my hand. Sorry, I can't.
Yes, please.
I'm having some issues, but I don't know if anybody else has raised their hand, but I'd like to add to that too.
Yeah, go ahead, Mayor.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Roxanne, for that. I think the partnerships are really critical. And just, I mean, and I think advocating in terms of this funding and expenditure of the funding and what's remaining, hopefully, we have an outline process so that way it can be an equitable process. But I will advocate for South County and for Soledad, since I know since at least my reports from that what we've done to date with the program has been being able, we have 12 participants, and as of now, 4 of them have been housed in an affordable studio or apartment, and are continue to receive some assistance through December. And I knew we were really hesitant about what was going to happen with the remaining participants that we do have as well, because it's important, obviously, to be able to support and to provide this assistance throughout Monterey County. So I think what we've been able to do with the assistance, with the support, I think it's really critical, and to continue supporting those youth within our Monterey County area is really critical as well.
Roxanne, you mentioned it's a TAY project. For those people that know the acronym, is it Transitional Youth Project, and it was
Transitional Age Youth, yes.
Transitional Age Youth, and it was an allocation from who?
Senator Padilla got us a federal earmark,
Great.
And then other county departments, including the city of Soledad, has identified a property that they are currently demoing the building that's existing on there. So there seems to be a lot of folks that find this to be a really important resource in South County. Since I've been at the county, I've received kind of a concerning amount of I don't know, requests for assistance for 18-year-olds living inside of tents inside of their parks in South County with children. It's just been really eye-opening of the need that we have down there.
Yeah, and Supervisor Chair Alejo, just to let you know, the city did acquire a lot, and as part of the council approval process, it was designated. I mean, that specific acquisition for that property was designated with the hopes that we can convert that into a transitional age youth initiative. So the council is on board. Our council has been on board because of the need that we see, as Roxanne said, in South Monterey County. So we're lucky, that the acquisition the process has gone through. We do have that property, and we're still working in the process of that, but that property has been acquired and designated for that purpose.
Great. I think this is all good, important background. It really shows the Soledad's leadership on this project, and getting that significant earmark from Senator Padilla. It really helps the stars align to get this project realized. So I like it. This sounds exciting. Any comments on this and this recommendation here? All right. So Katrina, we're looking to approve dividing the allocation to San Benito County, the 136,000, and then the remaining, the 181 and change, would go towards the Soledad Transitional Age Youth Project, correct? That's the recommendation?
I was bringing up the fact that it's not obligated. We already have the allocation for San Benito County at the 136. The 181 is remaining. We did from, I believe, October through December. We were looking. We looked and spoke with organizations. My deputy director was speaking with all of Monterey County organizations, and they did not ask for any funds, but I'm just seeing now that Robin from Community Human Services is saying that they are also in need of funds. So I think we would have to take this back internally to see if we need to do a LOI, letter of intent, RFP process, small competition to try to see how we do this so that it can be equitable. I didn't know that there was other organizations that may be in need of funding at this time. So I'm taking your guys' lead and how you would like us to move this forward, as this is news to me now.
Okay. So question is, so that it could be a win-win. On that previous item, if there is unallocated funding from the HAP, I think that was HAP 2 or 3, if Robin's organization is in a need, could those funds be shifted? This seems like the perfect amount that Soledad needs, and it's ready to be allocated, and it's a project that's teed up. I'd hate for us not to provide that support to get this new critical project off the ground with that federal remark.
Yes, I'll take your guys' lead.
But I want to hear from others. What ideas? I'm just making a suggestion here, but we do have the ability to look back at those unallocated funds, and Robin is already one of our partners that we could also look to have funds to support her transitional youth program as well. Yes, let's go to Enrique and then to Jill.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I actually just logged in 5 minutes ago, so I missed a lot of the conversation. I was on the wrong link and I couldn't get in, but anyways, I made it here. I wanted to see about not considering this remaining balance for San Benito for redistribution. I have been in communication with my team and also our fiscal department. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting tomorrow morning, and for submission of invoices accounting for work under the rapid rehousing activities. I had shared in the past, I believe we had this similar conversation last year about the HHAP 2 funds being tied to one of the projects that we're building to provide rapid rehousing and supportive services for the HEAP and the Home Key project.
Okay, Enrique, just so everybody, so you're going back to what we were talking about previously, HAP 2 and HAP 3 unused fundings for San Benito County, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to.
We were on the youth funding, but okay, just so everybody's on the same page, we've gone back to San Benito's addressing the unused funds for HAP 2 and 3. Go ahead, Enrique.
Okay, so for HAP 2, given that there are delays for this project, there was very minimal activities, but since then there's been a lot more progress with this project, and we should be done like this month. All the water lines and electricity are connected. So I'm meeting with fiscal tomorrow morning to submit the expenditure reports. And even though we're at this stage, I believe, I'm confident that this fiscal year we would spend the remaining balance. The last report that I got from fiscal, we're like very closely being expended for the HHAP 3 and HHAP 2. Here it shows 214,000, but our allocation was actually 157K. That's the one that we need to spend more of the funds. But like I said, I am meeting with our fiscal department. We do have individuals in rent. We have clients that staff is providing support for. So I'm gonna, hopefully these funds are not redistributed. And I know I also had some conversations with Abrina, and I know there's some questions that I still need to be submitted. Tomorrow, I think I'll have a lot more submitted questions answered by our fiscal team.
Okay. On the numbers listed on there for like the 6 organizations that had outstanding, that's not just Benito. Colin, you want to follow up on this since you had raised this concern here?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly am not against authorizing staff to make decisions that are. I just don't want San Benito, because obviously I represent San Benito, to if we're it sounds like we're on track to spend the money, and I just want to make sure that that's understood. I can't be voting in favor of reallocating money and then losing money when that's all I'm concerned about, obviously, as a San Benito rep.
No, that's fine. We understand that, but everybody has the same deadline to get in their projections to us, so that we didn't have to come to the leadership council to have this conversation. You know what I mean? So we're doing our best. We want to meet with every organization, assess their spend down, have them provide us that information so that we can make sound decisions and be able to have the flexibility to reallocate so that we are not at risk of losing funding in our community. So if we do not move this forward, it's fine. We come back in April, know that there's still funding left on the table, and then have to move extremely quickly. So that's the only thing I want to put out there, is that if we have to come back in April and there's money left on the table, then we have to move very quickly in order to get those funds out and spent.
Yes. What I would just suggest is that we could do it a little bit different for San Benito, since they raised concerns. Maybe make sure that Enrique remains in touch with Katrina, and Katrina keep calling in the loop, right, to make sure all those numbers pan out. But for the other partners, to allow that flexibility, right, because there is, by the time we meet in April, there's only going to be less than 3 months left, right? 2.5 months, basically. So I think all of us, it's incumbent to make sure that we don't lose out our returning funds, unspent funds at the end of the fiscal year. I think that's imperative for all of us. So we could do it, put San Benito on a different track, keep the communication going, keep calling informed as our co-chair. But for the other 5 partners that are in Monterey County, that we might have to pivot a little earlier. If that's the agreement of this board, that's what I would recommend, just so that it's quicker.
And just on top of that, like I said, I do have a meeting with our fiscal. I think we will have it solidified. But if fiscal is recommending based on expenditures that we are not going to spend it all, I could certainly communicate that right away with Katrina.
Okay, and to Colin, please. Jill, is your question on this or the youth?
No, it's on this. It's on HAP.
Okay. Go ahead, yes.
3.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering, since there's been considerable concern expressed already about being able to continue funding the Share Center, which is a vital resource for this area for people that are unsheltered, should we be considering taking some of this money that would need to be reallocated and throwing it in that direction?
Great point. Katrina, you want to respond?
Sabrina, do you have the eligible activities for these projects? Because some of it was construction, a bulk of it was construction funds. We would have to do a budget modification and make sure that it's in alignment with our performance outcomes. So it could definitely be listed.
Sounds possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, I can go ahead and just share a little bit of perspective of what the needs of the Share Center are. Obviously, I cannot speak on behalf of both the partnership for the county and the city, but I will represent the city in response to that. I think Jill Allen made a really good point, is that the city of Salinas is also experiencing the same that everybody else is talking about in this space. And so, to Robin's point that she just put in the comment, the Share Center and any other emergency shelters is definitely a pool of programs that are going to need the support, given all of the changes to the eligible uses. So I think Katrina's point of looking over the HAP funding to even see if that's an eligible expense is the first step. But yeah, definitely please keep us also in mind on other potential funding. I know we're looking for other opportunities as well. Whatever we can do to offset the general fund on behalf of the city, I think is greatly appreciated. And I'm sure that the county feels the same way for the county budget.
Agreed, Keishla. Thank you for raising that, and I'm totally in agreement. Casey, you want to weigh in, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to, the ask is the same for, I think what I'm understanding from this conversation is that we don't want to take any money from any of the organizations, but that this is to just ensure that once all of the organizations have done their accounting of what they can and can't spend, that if that happens before our April meeting, that the coalition has the ability to move funds around. So the idea is that there is no intention to take any money from anyone. It is just how are we going to, is that what I'm understanding? Okay, so in that case, yes. I would be in favor of us, I not separating out San Benito County, because what it sounds like to me is the intention is to keep San Benito in the same way that all of the organizations, the intention is to keep the money where it is currently contracted, but this just gives that flexibility if that they come to the conclusion that they cannot spend that money. Okay.
Yes, thank you for that recap.
Well, are you comfortable with that, Colin?
I'm comfortable as long as it's on the record that there's a commitment to work with San Benito to have a constant, line of communication as we move forward.
That's agreed, right, Katrina? Yes. Roxanne?
I was just going to say I'm prepared to make a motion under those circumstances.
Okay, go for it.
I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those against? Motion carries.
I'm gonna abstain. Am I supposed to abstain on this?
You don't have to.
Then I won't. I'll go aye.
Okay. But your concerns are well taken, Enrique. And
yeah, I appreciate it.
Collaborative here, but we also want to be serious about not returning any money at the end of the fiscal year. Robin, please weigh in.
Clarify what the motion was, please.
Roxanne, you made the motion.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Robin,
someone just needs to repeat the motion.
Yes. Yeah, we already voted on. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So the motion is in alignment with what was put on the table. Is that we are going to ask the coalition to continue to engage with the funded organizations, ensure that they do have a plan to spend down, and for whatever remaining funds, give the coalition the flexibility to move that money to another organization that has a shortfall to meet this very tight deadline.
Yeah, Captain, sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, ma'am.
Everybody's good then. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the youth funding. All right. So we were talking about the Soledad project, and the 136,258 has already been allocated to San Benito. We were talking about the remaining funds to go to Soledad for their transitional age youth project that they have the property for and they have the federal earmark for. Seems like a project worthy to support at this time moving forward. We could entertain a motion if there's no other discussion. Go ahead, Mayor.
Chair, I was just going to make the motion. I'll wait for if there's more discussion.
Or you can make the motion and then we could speak on it.
So I make a motion to move forward with approving the 181 that's remaining to be allocated to the youth homeless transitional housing project in the city of Soledad. That it is for Monterey County. It's Monterey County wide as well.
Great. Second, is there a second for it?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Enrique.
Maybe it was already discussed. What is the expiring date for HHAP?
June 2028. But we need to make our obligations by June 2026.
So if I understand correctly, recommendation of 136,258 from the...
You already have this. You already have this funding. This is already in your contract. This is the remaining balance.
What are you talking
about? We weren't able... What are you talking about? Sorry.
So it's not necessarily to redirect it to other programs, organizations.
Only the remaining
No.
unallocated.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the 318 is our required allocation. We already gave you the 136 through the last funding round, and this is what's unallocated.
Okay, I get it now. Thank you.
August the 2nd, Chair.
Okay, oh, thank you. We got a first a motion and a second. Additional discussion on the motion. See none, we can take a vote. I do want to thank City of Soledad. It's been great to see Seaside when we opened Casa Noche Buena, King City on their Project Home Key, Santa Cruz, Watsonville, and working for the tiny homes there, and then Salinas really being a leader on several projects early on. So thank you, Soledad, this is a second significant project in your community, and it's really rolling up your sleeves. And make sure that you say the COC too, along with the county, are partners with you, along with the federal legislators. That's a really great accomplishment that's moving forward. So let's call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mayor Velasquez.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And absolutely, Chair, we know it's a collaborative, so we will definitely highlight the importance of the COC and the other partnerships that, that make this possible. So thank you.
Thank you for that. It makes these meeting times rewarding when we see these beautiful things happen in our communities. Let's go to this other good update that we have by Katrina.
Yes, so I'm happy to finally announce that the National Alliance to End Homelessness identified CHSP as a strong candidate and recommended us to the Bezos Day One Family Fund in August of 2025. They had invited us to submit an application, and at the funder's request, we had to remain keep this confidential until Bezos Foundation reported it and announced it publicly. So in October of last year, CHSP was awarded $2.5 million to support local homeless response efforts directly serving unhoused families. So I have a very teeny tiny team of people that helped me craft this application and strengthen it, and I want to let them remain confidential, and I just thank them for their support because it was a very quick turnaround. They announced it in August. We had to submit in September, and then we are awarded in August. So we're really excited to announce this and would like to share the allocation with the community. So it is broken down into these buckets right here, and we are currently conducting outreach to potential partners, and then we'll release a small LOI, a letter of intent, in March to start the process and get these fundings out into our community. So real quick announcement. We're really excited, and just seeing if anybody has any questions before we move on.
This is really great news, Katrina, and obviously a significant award for our communities and for the families that would be assisted through this. Just by way of background, if you could say, how do you find out about this opportunity to submit an application? And certainly thank your whole team and whoever else helped you put this in by the timeline. So
yeah, I didn't. It just came in my email, and it just said day one, family first, and thankfully I opened it, and they shared with us that they would like to submit, and it took a lot of digging to find out how they found out about us. And I actually didn't find out that NAEH recommended us until like a couple weeks ago when I was writing this presentation. So it was I was very shocked. So yeah, this is my first grant that I have been able to obtain that is a historical, funding opportunity that has always laid with the coalition. So this is my first big grant as a executive director to go for, and I really could not have done it without my secret teammate.
It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's so great.
It's a big one too.
Yeah, it's huge.
Any comments, please comment. Anybody?
I'm just so impressed. It's thrilling.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you. And it's a 2-year contract, a 2-year time frame, and we already have the funds in our account. They were really weird about it, so it had to be. They came in stocks and bonds, so I'm learning a lot about that and liquidating funds and building a portfolio. So I'm really being stretched in my growth as an executive. So really excited to be able to obtain these funds, and more so excited to get them out into the organizations who can spend these dollars and help our community.
Right, and Katrina, there's some restrictions on the family side, right, versus shelters and other things. Can you just elaborate on that? What the conditions?
Yes. So it is for families only. That's the whole thing. We can't do, single families. We can do pregnant females because they're becoming families. So they just have to be a family working with the MCOE and all of our other family service provider network. So if you serve families, if your organization serves families with youth, then we can definitely help that. And I think that's what it is, Supervisor Alejo, family with youth.
Got it. All right, Tim, you have a question on this or comment?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think this is a great opportunity. The National Alliance to Homelessness, they're a great partner. I work closely with Alex and other members on the National Alliance, and
was it you, Tim?
So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
I might have. I always. If there's ever comes up with them, I always, of course, I'm going to put RCOC out there. I can't remember if I did specifically on this one though. I always keep RCOC in the mix, especially when it comes to I'm headed back from Sacramento right now, so it's a little bit late. But we were just out there advocating for HHAP funding. Also, we're trying to advocate for a rescue fund. Because of the HUD funding, we were trying to advocate for California to step up and have a rescue fund in place so that 40,000 Californians don't return to homelessness. So most of the assembly members we talked to are in favor of that too, and they're all pretty much in favor of the HAP funding, and seem to get a lot of support on that as well. So a little update there as well.
Thank you for your advocacy up in Sacramento, Tim. It's appreciated. Mayor Velasquez.
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations, Katrina. What an amazing accomplishment. So, I apologize if I didn't hear, but is there an expenditure timeline for these funds?
There is, and I don't have the numbers, the expenditure date at my fingertips, but it is 2 years, and I'm assuming from October. So, since we were awarded in October, I would assume it goes till 2028.
Okay, great. And then
so we can spend it all now, or we can, piece it out up until 2028.
Okay, thank you. And then I apologize, but the process for expenditure, are we going to solicit or from individual nonprofits or individuals families and youth?
Yeah, I think that's what we're working on right now. I have our LOI out, and then our, matrix developed already. It's just getting it out into the community so that they can apply for it.
And Katrina, you could send it to the board so they know what that is, and so they get all that information as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. So we I'm going to go pretty fast because we have about 60 more slides, so we might not get to everything. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the unsheltered point in time count. We didn't quite hit our goal for volunteers, but we made sure that every track was assigned, so thank you, everybody who volunteered, and those that also took additional tracks on. Our shelter data is still being compiled as it was due on February 3rd, so we're still awaiting from organizations to supply their point in time and housing inventory count data, and Oliver, our HMIS systems admin, is going through all of that data and contacting all of the organizations that are still pending. Our unsheltered and sheltered surveys are currently being conducted out in our community, and we're hoping to have a report released to the community by May. So here's a nice picture of City of Salinas and their team out on the streets today. So I found it on Facebook. For our CARS update, first of all, I want to apologize for the formatting on the policies. We had to make significant changes to language due to the recent updates in gender equality, DEI, all the things. So we had to remove all of that from our policies and procedures. So that is mainly what you'll be looking at in the CARS policy revisions. And we're seeking approval on that, as well as our inactive client policy. So the inactive client policy establishes standardized process for identifying and exiting inactive clients from our system, ensures data integrity, equitable prioritization, and compliance with our CES. CHSP had hired some part-time temporary staff to do outreach to all of our inactive clients and try to keep our list alive and up to date. But we are facing about 3,600 folks that are inactive or coming up to be inactive, and not enough manpower to continue to do those outreach. So with this inactive policy, we're saying after a year of no contact and us doing our outreach, that we just remove them from the system. They don't get removed from the system, but they get removed from the master list. They still live in HMIS, and we still are aware of who they are, but they will no longer be flooding the priority listing. So it has went to the oversight committee, and they have accepted it, and we are seeking approval on the language changes and the inactive client policy.
We need a motion on this. This is an action item.
Yes.
So if anybody has any questions, we can answer those. Otherwise, we need a motion for this to take place. Seeing no questions, can we have a motion to approve the recommendations? Let's go to Phyllis Katz. She does have a question. Tim has this. I think he left his hand up because he's driving home.
How are you reaching out to people to and how are you accommodating for people who may have disabilities with respect to your outreach to them before removing them from the list?
Right, thank you for asking. So I want to say in summer to fall, we had 2 part-time temporary staff members that were making phone calls, sending emails, setting up meetings with folks off-site to get either their coordinated entry assessment updated or removed. So that's all we can do is email them, call them, and contact the last known case manager to continue on with that outreach. We don't hear back from them, or they say that they don't want to be on the list, and we remove them. So that's how we're doing the outreach.
Thank you.
No problem.
Right. I did have a question. So if we don't get a hold of them, we're removing them from the master list. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, one more time, Tim. We try to call them on the phones on file, email them on the emails on file, and connect with their last known service provider, caseworker, to continue on with the outreach.
Have we reached out to the outreach workers like the CHA team or Access Per Network or other outreach teams?
So yes, that has been going on for years in trying to get our outreach workers to either do updates on assessments, but it has not been successful on these 3,600 clients.
Let me ask this: if there's a way, if for some reason the client does somehow reach out to us, right, and we've removed them, is there a way to put them back on?
Yes,
And they would have lost their position, or they've lost their position already?
The position changes every day, every second. Every time there's a new assessment, it changes. So that part doesn't really factor in. But if they do call us and say, "Hey, I'm back. I still need help," then someone will have to redo their assessment and make them active.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to be removed from the list.
Yes.
Okay.
Roxanne?
I just wanted to comment that this is a really complex situation because the coalition has the responsibility of also making sure that all beds are full to the maximum capacity. The last few HICM pits that we've had that I'm aware of, we have been at really low occupancy. And going back to things that we've been talking about, it's hard to advocate for more. It's hard to advocate for, or even like underscore why we need to build more if we can't even keep our beds full. So I appreciate all of the work that the coalition does, and I'm trusting that you guys have thought this well out with all of your partners. So I'm also prepared to make a motion on this to keep us moving forward.
Okay, make the motion.
I would like to make the motion to approve the CARS policy revisions and the inactive client policy approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And who is that?
Casey.
Casey, thank you. Any further discussion? See none?
Hi. Yes, I was wondering if I would be able to just give a little bit more information. Hi, my name is Denise. I am the CARS program manager. I did kind of put it in the chat, but it is important for our case managers when they are doing the assessment with our clients to let them know if there is ever a time where they do not want to participate in coordinated entry and they happen to want to participate again. That client, even when they are exited from coordinated entry, they are always immediately re-eligible to re-enroll. So that would just be reaching out to an organization, getting in contact with them to get back into the system.
Thank you for that. Anyone else? All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those against? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries unanimously. We can go to the next item. Also next.
I'm going to skip through my very long presentation on SAVE and because it's really an informational update because we have some other hot topic items that we need to move forward if that's okay with you.
Can you just briefly say what it is? The Systemic Alien Verification for Entitlements Overview. That's an acronym for a federal verification program. But just so, if we're going to come back to it next meeting, just so we can just quickly make people aware of what this.
Yeah. So I just want to bring this to the forefront of kind of what our service provider network that is federally funded is kind of going through. Kind of talk about exactly what it is, how we believe it works, the responsibilities of the coalition and the service provider network, and how this can impact your clients, and best practices as to how we share this information with our clients, and just really reminding everybody that we don't believe that HMIS should live in our homeless management information system, that this is for eligibility use only, not for housing programs. And it does not happen on the assessment side or on the referral side. That this happens during enrollment, and that there are also, some key takeaways. That we don't use it for matching referrals, that we're not sure if SAVE equals ICE, and we're not sure if SAVE reports out to clients, and that our commitment really is fair and equal access, compliance without harm, clear communication, protecting client dignity and privacy, and protecting our service provider network. I do have a bunch of resources for our community so that they can look into it and really decide for your organization is to determine if you are exempt through the PRORA Act or if you are required to use this for your federal funding. And I did this presentation for our service provider network so that they are very aware, but I did want to bring it up to our leadership council so that you guys are aware, and that state is also used for other federally funded benefits in our community as well. But it's a lengthy thing, so I would just move that one forward.
Move that for the next meeting for more discussion, because it's so short on time, Katrina. But thank you. Just to let people know it's aware. Part of what the new administration is trying to make our work and our funding allocations more difficult. So
yeah. And really quickly, the COC Monitoring and Evaluations Committee is proposing to develop a compliance letter that is issued directly by the committee to COC-funded organizations. This approach is intended to maintain clear role delineation and reinforces oversight responsibilities and maintain and preserve appropriate boundaries and the separation between CHSP's role as a collaborative applicant and COC entity and CHSP's role as staff to the CHSP board and the service provider network. So we are requesting the approval to implement the compliance letters coming from the Monitoring and Evaluation Committee on behalf of the COC.
questions and comments on this? Seeing none, if there's no discussion, can we entertain a motion to approve this recommendation?
This is Jill. I'd like to approve the recommendation that there is a compliance letter issued to funded organizations on behalf of the COC.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Ana Velasquez.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those against? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries unanimously. You go to the next item.
Yes, I'll pass it over to Roxanne Wilson on the, what is it?
Performance measures and outcome goals. While you're getting to that screen, I will share that I am a proud member of the Monitoring and Evaluations Committee, and we have worked really hard with the City of Salinas, with the Coalition, with service providers, and also with people with lived experience. Keep going, Katrina. For us to build up a, keep going. Keep going. There we go. Last one, go back. For us to build up a monitoring and evaluations protocol that is overarching between not just the COC, but also that the County of Monterey could leverage and that the City of Salinas could leverage as well. So we had hired Elaine DeColony, many of you guys know her, and she had brought on Kate Bristol, many of you guys know her. Both of these consultants have been working with all of our agencies on many different pieces of our system. And they had developed a standardized monitoring and evaluation protocol. Supervisor Alejo, you are going to learn about this more at our board meeting. But what we have discovered is that there's a lot of moving pieces. So we have the thank you, the Lead Me Home plan to take into consideration, HUD system performance measures, California system performance measures, how the COC does their ranking and review process, and also annual performance reports. So how is the system performing now? And you can move on to the next one. And through all of that investigation, we had identified that one, all funders have different performance measures and outcome goals, which is really difficult if we're not speaking in one voice. And then the second one is that we have a lot of work to do. So the first step is here at the Leadership Council. We would like for the Leadership Council to take a look at those performance measures that we are setting and outcome goals, also known as benchmarks, for each one of the types of housing intervention. So outreach has their own benchmarks. Interim housing, which includes transitional housing, emergency shelter, bridge housing, has its own benchmarks. Rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing would have their own as well. Again, we looked a lot at how our system is currently performing, and we did make ambitious but absolutely achievable goals, because we also don't want people to feel like we're setting up the entire system for failure. So with that being said, as the first step of the Leadership Council, Monterey County Board next, we are asking for the Leadership Council to authorize the Coalition of Homeless Services Providers to incorporate the recommended measures and benchmarks into all applicable COC-funded programs. And then the second one is for the Leadership Council to authorize the Coalition of Homeless Services Providers to align all COC funding competitions, scoring matrices, and new performance with the new performance benchmarks and performance measures and benchmarks. Sorry, I'm trying to say it fast because we're running out of time. And that's it.
Okay, we have a first question by Jill. Go ahead, Jill.
Just a quick question. Are you perhaps modeling other COCs in what they are doing to have consistent measures and benchmarks across the board, or is this something that we came up with originally?
It is something very specific to our community and takes into consideration how our system is currently performing. HUD has a standardized set of system performance measures, as does the state. So we wanted to make sure that we are taking into consideration what our expectation from our big funders are. And we need to move the needle because in HAP 6 and HAP 7, so much language is based on, did you meet your outcome goals that were stated in your last application? So all of those things taking into consideration is where we came up with these goals.
Thank you.
Of course.
Other questions on this?
Wow, I was expecting so much more.
Yep.
Yes,
go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, Supervisor, Chair, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and I think probably to your point earlier in the conversation, as there's less of the home dollars coming in, and as we've heard Governor Newsom really talk about accountability, I think it's important to be able to show. I know for us in Monterey County, we obviously have been moving the needle, and it's really important. But also with any funding source, I think it's important to be able to have a comprehensive set of standards and matrices that we're using to be able to measure. And I think having those in line would be really important for us, even for each of us, to be able to share those stories, right, of how we are moving forward, what we are doing as a coalition in Monterey County, the Tri-County area. But it's really, for San Benito, Monterey and San Benito, but it's really critical for us to be able to have a universal language to be able to showcase what we have been doing and how we're moving forward. So I just wanted to say this is great that we're moving forward in bringing this as part of the recommendation for today.
Agreed, definitely. Anyone else want to weigh in? If not, let's entertain a motion. Anybody?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so moved. The recommendation as listed up there, and is there a second?
I'll second, Jill.
Thank you, Jill. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those against? Enrique, we approved it, but you want to say a comment on this last item?
I was raising my hand to approve it, so.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, we got one more item. Data reporting updates on HMIS.
Yeah, really quickly, we just want to announce that we submitted our LSA, our longitudinal, that word gets me every time.
I always get 10
system analysis, and we submitted our report, and it's under review. I updated you on the Hick and Pit already, and then our system performance measures opened up on February 3rd, and Oliver is working with the service providers to work through that data as both the LSA, or all three of them, LSA, Hick and Pit, and the SPMs are reported to the federal government and are publicly published. And that's it.
That's information.
Here's our team.
Thanks to all the team.
Thank you, everybody.
Anybody have any questions on this update? Mary Velasquez, you have your hand raised?
No, I apologize. Let me lower my hand. I don't have a question.
Right. If there's nothing else, thank you, everybody. We're finishing right on time. It is 4:58. Thank you for your patience getting out through these items. We took care of some action items, so we appreciate it. We'll see you at our next meeting in April.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Coalition.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.